House hacking can be a great way to generate some additional income from your property, but not all properties are ideal to be used for this strategy. Today we're going to discuss the things to consider when shopping for a property to use for house hacking. I'm Craig. I'm a former financial coach and jack of all trades who wants to help people learn useful life skills that aren't being taught in most schools. Subscribe to my channel and we'll work to level up our skills, plus I'll try to make it entertaining. When shopping for a property to use for house hacking, there are some things I would definitely consider. What is the property layout and noise considerations? I think ideal house hacking properties have separate living spaces for the owner of the property and the renters. One example of this would be an ADU in the yard or a finished basement with its own separate entrance. These setups allow you to generate income without forcing you to incorporate your renters into your personal life. This is better for the long term because you may end up with a partner who wants more privacy, or you may decide to have children. In these scenarios, you may not want your renters encroaching on that personal space, and vice versa. With roommates in your house, everything gets more complicated. In my house, the main bedroom was located upstairs and it had its own bathroom. It was big enough that I could stay in there all day if I wanted to without having to interact with anyone else in the house. The rooms I had for rent were on the opposite side of the house, which meant there was closets, a staircase, and bathrooms in between us. This created a sound buffer for noise in the house. This may sound like a petty thing, but being forced to listen to whatever is going on in the bedroom next door is not always desirable. How many rooms are going to be in the house? The typical thought process is that the more rooms you rent out, the more money you can bring in each month. Now that is true, but you're also going to want to think about your sanity. Sometimes too many renters in and out of your house can add a level of hassle that just isn't worth the extra money. How many bathrooms are in the house? In my experience, renters are cool with sharing a bathroom with other people as long as some ground rules are laid out and the common area is kept relatively clean. I found that 2 renters sharing a bathroom isn't a problem. However, more than that starts to cause some traffic issues that can lead to other problems, especially at the beginning of the day when people are rushing to get ready for work. Personally, I'd rather have 2 renters that stay happy and rent for me for a long period, rather than having 3 renters that turn my house into a passive-aggressive war zone. When stuff finally boils over, people always find a different place to live. Is there adequate parking for multiple vehicles on the property? This is a big one. Nothing pisses people off more than having a long day at work and coming home to find there is no parking available. People in that situation bring that bad energy into the house. Save yourself from this headache. Extra parking was something I had definitely requested to my realtor when shopping for the house. I had 2 spots in my driveway and room for about 2 more cars in front of my house on the street. The parking situation was something I would outline in the rental agreement. I reserved one of those parking spots in the driveway for myself, and sometimes I'd have a renter who would actually pay extra money to have the other spot in the driveway. Everyone else, to include guests, would park on the street. How much fridge space is in the house? If there's lots of people living in the house, you'll probably need a second fridge. Having an overflow fridge in the garage is probably the right option if you have more than 3 adults living in the house. Think of it as a business expense. The rent from 1 or 2 bedrooms for 1 month alone can likely cover this cost, and in my experience, it'll be worth the investment. What about the yard area? Having a yard can be great, but the upkeep can contribute to extra stress as a landlord, so you want to weigh the pros and cons. I wanted a small yard that I could use for a garden. This ended up being a selling point on my property as many of my roommates enjoyed being able to grow things in the garden as well. It gave us a common area to go and bond. The yard also provides an area for pets. Personally, I'm not a fan of pets in most house hacking scenarios because it adds a layer of complication that already has a lot of moving parts. How much storage space is on the property? People looking to rent a room typically don't have much stuff. But it's not uncommon for people to have a bicycle. It can be helpful to have some space in the garage or a shed for bigger items like this. While there are many other things that can come into play, these are the main ones I've experienced during my own time with house hacking. A lot of these things come down to one simple concept. Set up the house in a way to prevent situations that make people upset. If you can do that, your roommates will generally be happier and stay for longer, which typically will result in you making more money. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Also be sure to check out my House Hacking for Beginners video, which covers my key tips and tricks I wish I'd known when I first started house hacking. I'll link to that in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.